What's up, everyone? Peace and blessings. Welcome to the Scars and Stories podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Shear, and today we got a special guest from the hometown of California and now reside in Tennessee. Her name is Markeisha Hayward, and she is a transplant survivor as well. And so we're going to have this conversation, and she's going to tell us everything about herself, and give us a 411 on how she's thriving with her podcast. I mean, her podcast with her transplant, and we're gonna get down to business. And how are you, Markeisha? How's things going?
I'm well. Happy to be home. Was at the hospital since about 4 a.m., but finally home, showered, and back in my safe place.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. I know you're going through some things, but the good thing is you are still here,
Yeah,
and despite that transplant, I know we have our hiccups, but we still surviving.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get straight to it. Can you tell
Okay.
the listeners and the viewers about yourself?
Thanks so much for having me here, Stephen. I really appreciate your time and your energy. Again, my name is Markeisha Hayward. I moved to Tennessee in 2009 from Compton, California, born and raised. I'm an entrepreneur and author, and now I proudly say I'm a heart transplant recipient, as you see the beautiful scar here. Some people call it a war scar, some people call it a zipper. I just call it my second chance. And I think it's pretty, it's cute, it's fabulous, all of those good things. So I show it
Exactly.
as much as I possibly can because it's just reminding me about God's grace. But before all of this happened, a lot of people knew me as the gun lady. I own Group of Protection Firearms and Safety Academy here in Tennessee, and I would travel teaching people how to defend themselves, how to protect themselves, the proper names of the parts of the firearm, how to safely load your firearm, how to carry it safely, reciprocity, where you can carry your gun safely, because there's so many people that are so fearful of firearms, and they'll purchase one and leave it in their trunk or leave it in their garage, and they can't defend themselves, so that's something that I was doing. It was during COVID. um I was working hand in hand with hundreds of students and never got sick, never got COVID, but unfortunately my dad did. He ended up passing away in 2021, and it was January 21, and then December 2021 I had a STEMI, a massive heart attack, which tore my heart up through and through. It was so bad to where I had to be put on the transplant list. And before the heart attack, my goal was to assist other people and prepare them and educate them to take care of themselves. And once I had my heart attack and my transplant, things changed. I was the one that had to be trained. I was the one that had to be taken care of. Yeah.
I hear you.
So
And that leads to the second question of what started your transplant journey as well, as you gave some of that information. So
yeah. So I want to say it was a plethora of things that started the journey. Like I said, I did have the STEMI in December 2021, and I was under so much stress, not being able to see my father in California. My family did not want me to travel. So I held on to that hurt and that pain. And I'm the baby. Okay. I'm the baby. Uh, and I felt like I was willing to take the chance to get on the flight to fly to California, so it should not have been a problem with anyone else. However, I was excluded. I couldn't go to the salute. He was in World War II, Invasion of Normandy. I missed that, with my daddy. But
uh,
they invited grandchildren and in-laws and cousins, and it was a limited space. Remember, during COVID there was only a certain amount of people that can be in a church facility, or
yeah,
whenever you go to a building or a facility, you have to stand a certain amount of feet behind the other person. Well, that's how it was with funerals also. It was limited to a certain amount of people, and it was so hard dealing with that. I cried every day, literally, for that entire year. And then I barely slept because I am still a hustler, but not as I was previously. My
Right.
motto used to be, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I got that close because there were so many goals that I wanted to achieve. And I wanted to continue to travel the world. I've been to several countries and took my children to several countries. And I wanted to continue to have that lifestyle, So the lack of rest, drinking energy drinks, crying, holding on to things that I should not hold on to, not knowing how to completely release certain energies and let it be there and not grab it back and not hold on to it was my issue. I didn't know how to do that. But I've learned now.
And it's kind of funny um, how society, or American society for sure, kind of drills that in your head. Is like you sleep when you die because you're all about working hard and you want to have the things you want to have, but you never ask yourself at what cost. It's never at the forefront of your mind until something traumatic happens, whether it's with somebody else or it's with yourself. And so when that happens, it's never that thing. And then when it happens, it's a shock, and you have to look at everything differently. Like it's a new point of view.
It
Even
is.
for yourself, just having the heart attack leading to your transplant, it opens a new pair of eyes for sure. And far as the 2020 stuff, far as your father passing and funerals, I experienced that the same way. My grandmother had passed in 2020 as well. She was in a hospital and she got COVID as well, and that
Mm,
didn't help her situation. And she ended up passing. So you have to deal with the rules, like you said, the
yep.
church and everything. What was it, 6 feet apart or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
they were putting circles for people to stand. So yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get it.
It was
And
terrible.
it was a tough time in 2020. A
It
lot
really
went
was.
on.
There's a
Yeah.
few times I went to visit him. He was in Bellflower, California, and I'll visit him at the facility, which was for veterans. And I couldn't walk. I can only walk up to the gate, but we could not touch each other's hands. I couldn't hug him. I couldn't go within the facility walls. It was hell. And then it got to the point to where they shut that down. And then I couldn't see him at all. So here you go. My dad is going on, 100, and I can't even say goodbye, properly. So that was pretty difficult. It was
On
pretty
100.
difficult. But even
Wow.
with
He
the
lived
heart
a long
attack,
time.
I mean, I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to talk. I would stutter. I would lose my breath just having conversations. I couldn't wipe myself. Um, I couldn't put my medications like in my medication box. My children had to do that for me because my mind was so foggy from all of the medications that I was on then, to where I would double medications, triple medications. How? I have no idea how I was doing that. And then I would take night medicines instead of morning, and so on and so forth. So the people that were dependent on me, I now had to depend on them. And they constructed a list, literally a nursing list amongst my 5 children. And they had different hours that they would be here and different days they will be here. And they were working shifts to keep mama alive. I ended up getting diabetes after I had my heart attack. No, was it heart attack? Yep. And it lasted for about 3 months. It ended up going away, thank God. But they were giving me my injections. They were taking my blood every day, several times of the day, making sure I was eating. It was hard. It was difficult, especially when you come from being a boss, and everybody is dependent on you. And
I
now
can
you have
only
to depend on
imagine.
everybody else. The journey definitely changed.
I can only imagine. And I mean, thank God that you're blessed with your children and get you through that
Yes.
part of your life. But I can only imagine. And I've been there where I had to learn how to walk because prior to my transplant, I did have a couple open heart surgeries before. So in one of those, you have to learn how to walk all over. Again, it's not just like the transplant, and they get you up in 2 days. At one point, it was during my second surgery
Mm-hmm.
that I had to learn how to walk. It took some people it takes a few days, some people it takes a few months. Mine was a few. I would say mine was almost a month trying to learn how to walk again, and it's hard. Luckily, back then I was a young child then, so I was able to bounce back faster in comparison to an adult.
Yeah.
But you don't forget that.
No.
And any open heart surgery, you're not going to forget anyway, especially a transplant.
No.
So,
No.
but
Neither one. My baby brother, he has Down syndrome. His name is Elijah. Hi, Elijah. I love you.
shout
he
out to
just turned
Elijah.
He just turned 21 years young, and he actually had open heart surgery. So I was supposed to be in California to show you the grief that I was dealing with during this time. Amongst my father passing away, me teaching, being an entrepreneur, driving all over the, different states teaching, and then dealing with COVID. I was supposed to be in California while my brother had open heart surgery because he has a leaky valve. He was born with a leaky valve, and most individuals with Down syndrome are. Well, he ended up having surgery, and I ended up having a heart attack the same time that he was in the hospital. So my mother had two of her children. I'm the only girl. So that her only girl was in the hospital from a heart attack, and my brother was in the hospital having open heart surgery. So I
Ooh,
know that was so rough on her.
that has to be. Oh man. I
Yeah,
mean,
so rough. The
yeah, that
strongest woman I know, a G, honey. There
she
ain't no
got to
woman
be.
alive that can take my mother's place.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, she got. Yeah, what they say, she's built for tough for this one. So yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely. Happy for her.
now with everything that's going on, you had your transplant,
Mhm.
and I see you on Facebook and everything, and you're doing a lot of stuff for yourself. You're documenting your journey pre
Right.
post as well. Um, how are you feeling now, post transplant, and everything that
Mhm.
you're going through in this currently in life?
I'm feeling grateful more than anything. I'm feeling grateful. I'm blessed because my heart has never been in rejection, and I'm over 2 years out. I've never had any infections. I've never had any illnesses regarding my heart. All of my issues are side effects from medications. I have what is known as medicinal intolerances, meaning the
Uh,
medications that I take that I have to live on, my body doesn't like them. Therefore, that's why I had diabetes for a few months. That ended up going away, thank God. But now my bone marrow isn't functioning correctly. And it's our bone marrow that creates the white blood cells. So my white blood cells, my hematocrit, and my red blood cells, they stay low because my bone marrow isn't functioning correctly and my body isn't. I also now have CKD, stage 3, chronic kidney disease. Never had issues with my kidneys, ever. And that's because of the immunosuppressants that I'm on also. So
mhm.
that's why they considered me having medicinal intolerances, because I have issues tolerating the medications that I have to live on. And of
Right.
course, they tried to change them, but now they're just like, you have to deal with these side effects. I mean, this is how you live. If the medication is working and is keeping your tacrolimus numbers where they're supposed to be, then it's not really much that we can do. Now if it becomes debilitating again, which it once did, I was vomiting every day, throwing up every day. I was passing out. My blood pressure was dropping. I was having severe, heart palpitations. If it gets that bad again, then they'll change it. But for now, I'm dealing with it. I'm just dealing with it, and it's difficult. And something else that sent me to the hospital is hydrocodone. I go to the pain clinic to get medication to get my narcotics, and I'm allergic to hydrocodone
Wow.
and oxycodone.
Oh man.
Yes,
The oxycodone. I
yes,
remember. I remember when I was in the hospital at UPMC in Pittsburgh. The oxy, even though I didn't need a strong dose, I wasn't really in pain. But when you're sitting there on the ventilator, where you got the tube down your throat,
mm-hmm.
can't really shift that much because you feel like you're gonna choke yourself out. So it's like you
Yeah.
want to, and I had to get retubed at that, so that didn't help. That was I end
Wow.
up they end up giving me some potassium liquid, and I was sort of out of it, but I was
Yeah.
alert enough that I was trying to tell them no, not to give it to me, and so I end up vomiting, and I end up getting my lungs. So they try to take
Mm,
the tube out for a little bit. It wasn't
yeah.
work. I had to be retubed. However, when you're on that tube, I I swear I was asking for oxy just to get through the day so I could sleep because so
Oh.
I cannot shift around get the tube because the slightest thing
Yeah.
is you feel like you're getting choked out. Let alone if they're putting the tube down to try to get the mucus out or anything out when you ask for that. And then if you're on one of those beds that like to inflate and then
Oh my
deflate,
God.
so to keep you from
Yes.
having bed sores and stuff,
Yes.
the slightest shift in that, you'll be in a comfortable position just like
That's
this.
very
You're
true.
doing good. And then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, it'll inflate and deflate, and your head lift up, and there's the tube, and you're like choking.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I do not miss that.
miserable. So the oxycodone, I totally understand for people who
Yeah.
actually need it for that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
thank goodness I'm not addicted to it. But bad
no,
for
that's a
that time.
blessing.
Yeah,
That's a blessing. Yeah. Because my medication, my go-to is morphine.
yeah,
Only because I have a high tolerance. Now I have 5 children and I birthed 3 100% natural. So very high tolerance.
yeah.
Um, but when it comes to certain ailments or certain pains, it's like I'm miserable. I can't function. I need something. But when I take morphine at home, it does not work. It has
Mm.
to be intravenously given to me. It has something to do with the substance and the chemical combination. It just does not work at home. And
Yeah,
that's steady what they're trying to give me. And I'm like, if I have to go to the ER, I'll just go to the ER. I don't want to, but it just doesn't work at home.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
it's
and it's yeah, I can understand that. It's amazing about these meds that we take. The meds that we take that help keep us alive can also
Mhm.
be the most damaging. So, like you
Yes.
said, we have to watch out for things like CKD. And in your case, this is
Yeah.
what stage you're in.
Yeah.
For the side effects, for instance, I just recently stopped taking this medicine called Crestor for cholesterol. Now, my
Oh,
cholesterol is always been normal even after the transplant, but
good.
they want it even lower a certain
Mhm.
way so that way you can prevent having CAD or coronary artery disease.
Huh?
So while it is normal, they want it low, like to 50s.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it makes sense.
Crestor had me messed up. Let me tell you, I was
Wow.
on it just for a week and a half, and I started having high blood sugar, the muscle aches and cramping and weakness. Yeah, tore me up. And I stopped it. The medicine itself takes about a good week to get out of your system. However, the side effects last a little bit longer. And depending on how healthy you are or whatever, it can linger up to
Mhm.
months. So I'm feeling a difference now. Um, I'm not having the aches. I'm not getting up in the middle of the night to pee like 3 times a night because that was happening.
That's good.
Never
Yeah.
had that happen.
Yeah.
Um, I'm getting my blood work done every few weeks to see if
Good.
the blood sugar levels, glucose is going down. And so far it's working, but yeah, things like that, is the trial and error. And now they got me on this injection called Repatha, and I take that once every two
Oh, what?
weeks. Hmm?
Repatha?
Repatha, it's another cholesterol medicine,
Okay.
except it doesn't operate through the liver. So they was explaining it to me a certain way, but so far, I haven't felt any side effects, which is a good thing. They said
Good.
the most you can have is a runny nose, which that's fine. But
Yeah. I'll take it.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. And
hitting yourself in
I
the
want
stomach. Yeah,
you said the
hmm?
stomach.
Hitting yourself in the stomach every 2 weeks with an injection, which I'm used to because coming out the hospital from transplant, my blood sugar was high, and I had to do insulin for a little bit while I was on the prednisone. Of course, we know how that works.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That was a
blood
big
sugar off
struggle.
the wall, emotions everywhere. You're
Hmm.
crying, even just looking at a commercial. Like, why am I crying?
And I
Yeah.
still deal with the emotional aspect of it. That's why I know it's PTSD. I'll see
Mm,
something on television and I'll just get so emotional. And I thought that I was past that, but I don't know if I'll ever get past it. I'm
Mm,
stronger because I'm not as emotional, I'll put it like that. But it still bothers
right, but it's still
me.
triggering.
It very triggering, very
Yeah,
triggering. And
and
I
this is
want
why
people,
we do that.
yeah,
Huh?
I want people to understand that getting a transplant doesn't mean you wake up after surgery and everything's going to be back to normal. There's so many people that ask me to this day, did you need a heart transplant? You don't look like you needed a heart transplant. You look like you were okay. And my thing is, you can't see me internally. You don't see any illnesses internally. You see me externally. And because my muscles work and I can do this does not mean that everything is okay because internally I'm crying. At this
Right,
moment, I'm not feeling my best. However, my source of strength comes from my creator. Therefore, I am able to smile. I am able to still carry on. But it's difficult. It's difficult because, our medications, appointments, testing, side effects like we spoke of, and then there's emotional, mental, the mental part of everything that we've been through. Um, Having to learn your body all over again. Like you said, going to the restroom several times a night. I got constipated for 6 days. I did not have a bowel movement for 6 days. I thought I was gonna die or go into sepsis. And I didn't urine for 3 days. That's totally abnormal. But this is because of all the medications that I was on. Um,
yeah,
Before I was going, 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 going. And now if my body tells me to sit down, I sit down. I listen. I'm learning not to feel guilty about it. And I also appreciate life differently as well. Because the things that may have bothered me before just don't have the same importance anymore. It's
uh-huh.
completely different. And I understand how precious time is. I'm not trying to become the woman that I was before I had the transplant, but I'm learning to embrace the new Markeisha after the transplant. And that's how and why I was able to build and to birth Heal and Grow Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I created this podcast. So, because we got to get the word out. Everybody thinks we're okay and we look okay, but they
Yeah.
don't realize what we're going through day to day. And some people, they're having worse situations. Some people hardly have any, but that doesn't mean that you're not going through anything mentally. And something I put out there before, just a little bit of a post telling people it's okay not to be okay,
Oh, yeah.
because and that's the first thing. The first step is admitting that you're not okay. Yeah, we're going through this mentally. Is the rejection at the forefront of my mind or the back of my mind at times? Absolutely, because you never know when it's going to happen. I
Never.
mean, there's people
Never.
that's gone on for years and never had rejection, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so people need to. I want people to understand and be educated
Yeah.
about what people go through, whether it's heart transplant, liver, kidney, all of
Yeah.
those things that we go through is traumatic. I mean, a heart is definitely traumatic because that's a one and done situation. It's not like a kidney. So you're
That's
flipping a coin for
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I had a friend that actually passed away about a month and a half ago, and he was going to have open heart surgery. And I was so distraught. I said, God, you allowed me to have a heart that I was not born with inside of my vessel. And my dear friend just went to have open heart surgery and he did not make it. You know, my daughter brought me back down and she evened out the playing ground. And she said, Mom, most times when God take good people like that, they've already fulfilled his will. They've done what they were supposed to do here, so um I'm still working on mine. I'm glad I have another opportunity to continue to work, to continue to get it right. But
Exactly.
that really helped me not to be so depressed. Of course, I'm missing the memories that we can be making now, but I still have the old memories that I could dwell on or, think upon to bring happiness to my heart.
Right. This is our second chance.
Yeah.
We don't want to go back to what was, as far as the everyday life, the mundane things. the 9 to 5, the hustle. You know, you
Mm-mm.
want more of a calmer, more focused and blessed life, to be honest with you, at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So
Yeah.
it's like you got this second chance. I don't want to waste it. I don't want to do the same thing that we did before that
No.
could be detrimental or just
No.
not fulfilling or not a purpose in life. So this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm having guests like you on here because we got something in common, not just our transplant story, but
Yeah.
also our life stories are pretty much common as well. That
Yeah.
second chance, we got to figure out what we want to do with it, which also brings me up to my next question of, you know, are you advocating, which partially you did answer it.
Yeah.
And if so, what are you doing to advocate for yourself and for others?
Yeah. Great question. Absolutely, I am advocating. My experience is actually what led me to Heal and Grow, like I said, to create Heal and Grow Nashville. So going through a transplant taught me that there's a medical side of transplantation, but there's also everything else: the fear, the emotions, the questions, the caregivers, the families, the waiting period, recovery, and just needing somebody who understands, because everybody don't understand and we cannot expect them to because they've never walked in our shoes. So I wanted to create a safe, judgment free community where people affected by transplantation can come together, talk, heal, and grow without feeling like they have to explain everything that they're going through. And if they want to explain it, we're there, open, listening, loving, kind, and I'm sorry, it gets emotional.
No, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, I mean, I've started doing support gatherings. My very first one, I had over 20 some odd people to come, which was absolutely beautiful. We're doing education and community outreach and donor awareness sessions. And I'm also working towards establishing partnerships with hospitals and transplant clinics so we can connect with people who need this type of support, because there's so many caregivers that just don't know what to do. And what I received from the caregivers that came to our first Heal and Grow support group is that they are exhausted, they're tired, they're afraid, and they need help. And I feel like it's my job to be able to assist them or to lessen their pain and their anguish and their fear. And whatever I can do to assist them, that's what I want to do for them. I'm trying to get grants so that we can have a caregiver a healing day, meaning go to a sound bath, go out and eat a good vegan meal or a good healthy meal. Go to the lowest waterfall where it only takes maybe 20 minutes to walk to the waterfall. Have a day full of yoga, because the caregivers need it. They need it just as much as we need support and we need each other. They need that also. And I know it's difficult for the spouses. I got divorced before I had my heart attack. I mean my transplant. So I wasn't married during mine, but my children definitely had my back. And one thing I know from living this type of life is no one should have to walk the transplant journey alone. And I truly believe my second chance of life wasn't given to me just for me. I'm supposed to be doing something with it. I'm supposed to be assisting other people in remembering that they are loved, they are needed, they are wanted, they are strong. And that's why I always say, I love you and I need you to survive, because I know how that makes me feel. And that's something that we don't hear often. And we need that. Think about how many people are on the street that's just snapping. They're at the end of the rope. They hadn't heard, I love you. They hadn't heard, I need you to survive. They hadn't heard the questions, how are you doing? How are you feeling? So I wanted to create an inclusive group of individuals that want to hear that, want to be a part of that, and feel free, freeing themselves psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And it's working out pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I have become an advocate for Donate Life Tennessee. So, or an affiliate of Donate Life Tennessee. So I'm very excited about that. Um, on the 30th of this month at Tennessee Technology Engagement Center, I'll actually be there, signing up individuals that want to become donors. You know, there's so many of us melanated individuals that are not donors because of fear, because of things that we've heard, because of misconceptions. So I'm here to spread the knowledge and the information and try to get us to register. So that's something that I'm going to be doing on the 30th at Technology Engagement Center here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I pray that our people come out and that they go ahead and sign up to be a donor, because
That's
at
what's
the moment we're on the bottom of the totem pole. You know, we can receive any nationality's organ. However, if you are the same likeness or, you know, more of the same likeness, then they say it can be more efficient. However, I don't believe I don't know who mine came from, but I feel like it came from a Caucasian guy. Isn't that odd? Like, I just have that feeling. I wrote the letter finally last month. It was either last month or 2 months ago, but I hadn't heard from anyone yet. But once I do, I'll let you all know. But I just feel it for some reason.
I get it. I definitely get it. And as far as like your donor, the donor family, I had written to mine back in November 11th of 2024, so 11/11. I made sure I did it on that day, and I heard back probably at the beginning of the following year, and
Wow.
then so I do know my donor's name and their family, and then I sent another letter, but some odd reason it got mixed up. But here
Mm,
recently, they got it and they reached out again and they want to establish contact. So I just filled
nice.
out the paperwork to release my information. So the procurement organization that originally go through is no longer a middleman. So we're going to have direct contact. So I can't wait for that to happen so I can actually meet the donor family and
That's
get the
amazing.
history of my donor and everything. So I'm excited. It's going to be a blessing. I can't wait for that to happen.
I'm
Of
happy
course, I'm
for
going to
you.
be speechless because, but the first letter that they did give me, they told me a brief background of my donor. His name was
Mhm.
Andy. So,
Okay.
so I
Nice.
do. So I definitely got his name, but I'm looking forward to get more information and background and to get his story and what happened and
Yeah.
how and what I can do for that family to help carry on their loved one's memory. So,
Yeah. That's
so
beautiful.
and part of what I'm doing is that whether I didn't hear from him or not, I was going to do it anyway. It's my purpose. Um, and the other thing is your your program that you got going on. I've been following it on Facebook. It looks like you're
Thank you.
doing well, and I'm proud of you for making that step.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Also, just like you said, get more of the melanated community involved, getting
Yeah.
them aware, and kind of eliminate that fear, that stigma, which
Yeah.
actually is something we discussed yesterday at the advocacy group that I'm part of, which is called
Mhm.
CORE, Center of Organ and Recovery Education. So we had our monthly meeting yesterday, which I had forgot that was happening. That was part of why I was running around so much yesterday.
Got
Um, and one of the things that came up uh, was about the basically the minority or ethnicity and
Mm-hmm.
how they don't want to take medical treatment or they don't want to take the advice because of the
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
and rightfully so because we've been through a lot, Tuskegee experiments and stuff, so that the baby boomer generation, and they pass
Yeah.
it down to generation with these stories.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the younger generation, what is that, Gen Z,
Yes.
they're a little more open and they're educating themselves. However, you still have people that's left in the millennial and Gen X that
Yeah.
need that education and to eliminate that fear. They need that understanding. And
Absolutely. And that's
it's
what we're here for.
yeah, exactly. And so we're walking around telling our stories, but
Yeah.
definitely need to touch base with that community because we are the ones that are hit the most and always have been in any situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so you're doing the groundwork with your
Yeah.
foundation and
Thank
look,
you.
it's a start. It's one of many to come. Um,
It really is. There's so much going on since I want to say May 27th. My brain has stretched enormously. Meaning I'm able to retain information that I wasn't able to the past year and a half. Literally. I was so forgetful and just so stressed and exhausted and tired. But I just completed a book called Mommy, I Got a New Heart. So I'm just waiting to get the proof in the mail. And then I'm going to have several more books after that. Um, I became an author back in 2015, and the book was called Our Book of Proverbs. And that book consists of different positive statements and or sayings or proverbs that we came up with ourselves. In order to receive a lot of knowledge, we have to go to a library in order to read certain things, in order to
right.
obtain knowledge, or we have to go to our grandmothers and our grandfathers in order to obtain that information. But one day we're going to be someone's ancestors. So what are we leaving behind with the world? So I comprised a book with numerous quotes from doctors, people that I know personally, doctors, lawyers, close friends, nurses, podiatrists, I mean, whatever field they're in, musicians. And I'm doing a second edition now, so I'm working on that. But I just thank God that I'm where I'm at psychologically because it took me a long time to get here. I was really afraid, Stephen, because I was having so many issues memorizing things. You know, I stayed home for a whole year after my transplant. I went to my appointments, but I had to ride to my appointments. But other than that, I sat in the back seat because I continued to have issues here and it was hurting. And
Hmm.
they said it's safe to be in the back in case of an accident. My anxiety was through the roof. And unfortunately, it just started back messing with me about a couple weeks ago. So every now and then we got to take a little Xanax. Mental health matters,
It does,
you know?
especially transplant. Mental health matters
Yes.
in every way, but that transplant mental health,
Yes.
you need it because that's just that is
Absolutely.
your will.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of growing that has taken place and I am just elated to still be here to assist the families, the donor's family in carrying on a legacy for their loved one. You know, I can't wait to be able to sit down with them and let them know what their family heart has been doing, the accomplishments that their family heart has accomplished, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm excited
absolutely,
to be able to do so because it's not just for me, you know, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna backtrack on something you said at the very beginning of the conversation, and I'm gonna pull something
Mhm.
up as well. So earlier you said you was talking about your scar. That's your happy scar. These
Yeah.
are survival scars or war wounds.
Yeah.
So there's a quote or this little article that you had not too long ago that you sent me, and I highlighted it, and it says, "Today I don't see my scars as something to hide. I see them as reminders of God's grace." Now there was more said after that, but that stuck out. So so
Absolutely.
and
If I
that's
did not have this scar, I may not be here, you know? And it's just like
exactly
war scars. When you see individuals with war scars, it means that they got through that war. They survived that war. And they have the scar to prove that it was a fight, but they didn't give up. They're still here. And look at us. We had our fight. We're still, you know, somewhat fighting, but we had pretty big fights.
yeah.
We're
It's still
still here.
ongoing battle. It's going to be
Yeah.
an ongoing battle with the transplant situation. However, I feel like going through the process and getting the
Mhm.
transplant was the war. I feel like that war is
Yeah.
won, but there is always
Yeah.
going to be some type of battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why I state every time, and it's part of the motto for the Scars and Stories podcast, is we give voices to our scars because they tell a story. They talk in itself.
I
If
like
you and I couldn't even speak, this would tell years of what we've been through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even my case from birth. So I'll be 44 in October. So this scar's always been
Yeah.
here, whether
Yeah.
it's been opened up how many times, 3 times, but
Wow.
it has his story. The scars on my back, which is part of the one for the first surgery, along with the first one on my chest,
Wow.
tells a story. So I walk with these scars. They're
Yeah.
almost like tattoos, but they give a story.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, so when I saw that saying on the article that you was part of, I was like, that stood out. That
Yeah.
definitely stood out.
And thank you for reading it. I appreciate it. I know I sent it to a numerous amount of people, and I got a thumbs up as soon as I sent it. And I'm like, yeah, they didn't read it.
No, no, I'm
But I
read.
appreciate it. It brought people closer to me, and I was able to share my truth and my story to where people can understand who Markeisha is. Because, like I said previously, here in Tennessee, I was known as the gun lady. You know,
Yeah,
I was a gun lady. But now I'm the heart transplantee. I'm the
exactly.
survivor. I'm the educator still. I'm just educating people in a different manner now.
Yep. Oh, and anybody, that article came from, what is it, Rising Stars? It meets Markeisha Haywood of Nashville. That's where it came from.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's where I
Nashville
got
boy.
the quote from. Yep, that's where I got the quote from. But yeah, it stuck out. I was like, I screenshot it, highlighted with my phone, everything. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta save this for when we do interview because
Thank you.
it it it's the foundation of everything. Also, we're going to speak to someone that hopefully that person is going to be blessed with a new heart some point, sometime soon.
Okay.
And this is going to be a shout out, and I know you follow him too. That's Cliff Wallace. They call him Cliff the Gift.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
So
are you going to interview him?
no, I said I will hope to interview
I
him.
hope.
I know I
Yes.
reached out. He's probably getting a lot of
Yeah.
messages and stuff. And so if you see that he mentioned,
Yeah.
he's read a message. I sent something. He said we can link up at one point. That was before he went into the hospital.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue to follow and probably send a message. And we hope, and this is a shout out actually to Cliff, that we hope that everything goes well. We know
Yeah.
he's going through a lot.
Yes.
He's on an LVAD. He's currently in the hospital. He's
Mhm.
fighting an infection. He's about to go through some things here in the next few weeks or month. And
Yeah.
some of this, I believe he has an infection and it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And it's not allowing him to be on the transplant list. It's taken him down to a status 7, which we know that's inactive. And
Uh,
people only use that if they're going on
right.
vacation, if they're well enough, not in the hospital.
Yeah.
But he needs his
Stay
blood cultures to
strong.
come back negative
Yeah.
2 times in a row so he can get back to a status 2.
Mhm.
And so that's what we're hoping for, that all this happens and he's able to get his heart, because he's been on an LVAD for years. And
Yes. Yes.
we don't want that infection to get in his blood. If it gets to his heart,
Yeah.
it's going to pump throughout his body, and
Yeah.
we know the outcome of that is not going to be good. But we are hoping and praying that
Yeah.
he has a great outcome, that he will get back on the list and get
Yeah.
this man a heart soon. Because
Yes.
watching his journey,
Yes.
what he's going through, the dude has been willful. He's strong, but he's still facing everyday
The
challenges.
journey.
And
Yes.
being in the hospital is
Journey.
even another challenge. And he doesn't know when he's going to come home or if he's going to come home. I know he says that he's going to fight this one day at a time, and he is.
Yeah.
But everybody knows if you're in the hospital, including me from experience, you
Yeah.
always got that question in the back of your mind. And it's a little bit of fear, or if you're going to be able to make it home.
Yeah.
Because myself, I was in the hospital for about a little over 60 days before I even got the call.
Days.
So,
Oh, okay.
So I had to stay in that hospital. I had to go through probably the mentals he's currently going through. Uh, you know, when I'm going to get the heart, or
Yeah.
when I'm going to be able to go home, or if I'm going to be able to make it back home. Because that's
Yeah.
a fight there as well. You're
Yeah.
fighting to
Of course.
stay alive while you're in the hospital. You're
Of course.
fighting your mental so you don't lose your mind. And,
Yeah.
by, seeing him on Facebook Live, it looks like strength. But behind closed door, you don't know what that man is going through, or anybody like him is going through, because I went
Mm,
through the same thing.
mm,
So again,
mm.
I'm gonna once I start dishing clips and stuff, I'm gonna tag him so he can
Yes.
see that we're thinking about him
Yes.
and
We're thinking
let
about
him
you,
know,
Cliff, the gift. You are a
yeah,
gift to
yeah, you
so
are a
many
gift,
different people. I see you
and
still did that school drive. You're still assisting other people and being great. You're still loving individuals. And we know it's difficult, but one day at a time. And
one
just
day at a
remember that
time.
we love you and we need you to survive, Cliff. Yep.
Absolutely. And I know you call yourself the gift, but
Yeah,
God will and God bless, He will give you the gift.
that part. Yeah. And just amazing. Did I tell you my story in regards to not being ready for my gift?
No, go ahead.
Oh my gosh. So my birthday was May 31st. I turned 29. No, just kidding. It was May 31st. I got the call June 1st and I received my heart June 2nd. So throughout that entire time, I'm going back and forth to the hospital, but the longest I'll stay is maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks max. But I've never been hospitalized for months or, had to wait in the hospital for a heart. And on my birthday, I told a friend of mine, I'm not ready for a heart. I'm still going to the gym. I'm deadlifting. I'm doing squats. I'm jumping. I'm pumping weights. I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing at 10, 12% ejection fraction. When it was at 20% ejection fraction, the doctor said, you're not supposed to be doing this. How is that possible? And I said, well, I believe there's a God that's allowing me to do this. And then there's willpower also. And where there's a will, which I learned as a child, there's a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want the heart to go to somebody that's in the hospital, somebody that needs it now. And I didn't have an ungrateful heart, but I felt terrible getting something from someone, whereas I'm still struggling, of course, but I'm not hospitalized. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
wasn't hospitalized. And the funny thing about it, though, is, honey, the next day when I got that call, we accepted that heart.
No, yeah, reality changes.
A,
So it's
a
like the
few
eyes wake
hours
up like,
later.
oh, I still want to live, despite I
Yes.
still could do A, B, and C.
Yes.
But this call is important, so I
It
get it.
really was.
I
Yes.
get it.
And that's
Prior to
another
that, I
thing.
was on the list I was listed for a year before I even went to the hospital. So
Okay.
from April 2023, I remember I got the call on my mother's birthday. God bless
Mm-hmm.
her soul, she rest her soul. She,
Yeah.
I got the call on her birthday, and I think that was her put me there. That I'm on a list. That was
Yeah.
April 18th, 2023, and then I waited the entire year until I got sick, and then they was like, "You got to go in the hospital for the foreseeable future." So,
Wow. Wow.
so again,
Yeah.
that even
And
in
I
the
did
hospital, I was still
receive,
doing the work. I was doing squats
yeah.
to keep my legs straight up, whatever I could do unless my heart
Yeah.
rate dropped and I lay down. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to make this recovery as fast as possible so I can get out and live
And you
life,
know what
because
I
things are
learned?
different.
I learned that nationality doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, how healthy you are doesn't matter prior to getting a heart transplant. The reason why I say that is because there's a guy that I just totally adore, Bob and Sharon Sawyers. We have become like this. This is a shout out to them. I love them so much. They're in Kentucky. And they always remind me that the day I had my heart transplant, they came into my room with their family and I prayed for them. I
Right.
don't recall the date. I do remember praying. I don't remember what I said, any of that. So apparently there was something on my door saying I was a newly transplanted individual or something. So the woman kept on coming to the door asking my 5 children how I was doing. And then she let my children know that her husband, Bob, was going to be having a transplant on June 3rd, which was one day after mine. So we invited them in and I prayed with them. And we have been like this ever since. Whenever they have doctor's appointments here in Nashville, I make sure I meet up with them and we go out and have something to eat. We'll make sure that we schedule our appointments on the same day. I mean, we've been so close. They've come to my first Heal and Grow support gathering in Nashville, which was wonderful. But that's a reason why I would really like to, and I am going to create a Heal and Grow house. Because whenever you have appointments and you live out of state, you have to reside 2 hours within the location of the hospital where you're going to be having your transplant. So
Exactly.
they're well over that. I'm right in it. Now, if I was in Atlanta, it'd be a problem because that's 3 hours away. But I'm Tennessee, so I'm about 45 minutes to an hour, 15 minutes away, depending on traffic. So I didn't have to relocate. But there's so many people that come from all over and they have to pay to stay in a hotel. And if I can bless them with Hill and Grow House, that would just be wonderful. You know, they can stay at my place for about a week. They'll bring their own food, beverages, all that good stuff, but at least they'll have somewhere to stay. And then with the Hill and Grow transportation, I can, go ahead and have someone to pick them up from the airport and take them to Hill and Grow or take them to their doctor's appointments. But those are things that are in the making because I really want to make it easier on these people because there were some times where it was so difficult for me because my children have their own lives.
Right.
However, they were willing to assist me and help me and did never complain one time. But if I can have somebody else to assist, to take me to my doctor's appointment or to grant me knowledge or information that I don't have, that will be so beneficial. And that's what I want to be able to offer to these other people, to so many people.
That would
Um,
be huge. That would definitely be
yeah,
huge. And I myself, even though it's an hour and 30 minutes travel, but it's out of state, it's out of town. So
yeah,
I have to watch my wife do this even while I'm in the
yeah,
hospital. Travel an hour and 30 minutes one way from
yeah.
Morgantown, West Virginia to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, every weekend just to visit me. Some weekends I told her don't come, go hang out with like the family,
I'm so
take
sorry.
time for ourselves, so you have a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna constantly worry. I get that, but
yeah,
you don't need to be in the hospital scene every weekend or every time you have a day off and stuff. I
yeah,
appreciate her for doing that. I'm grateful, but like you said, our caretakers they need a mental break as well. So, but for
absolutely.
people
Absolutely.
traveling, is that would be huge as well because
Yeah, yeah.
traveling back and forth and you don't really have a place to rest your head or your
Difficult.
mental, and then the expenses that come along
Yeah,
with it as
and
well. I
it's
mean,
changed
people go
so
into
much.
debt. People go
Yes,
into debt because of this. I mean,
yes.
we're just now getting back to somewhere stable financially for all that we've
Congratulations.
been through, and this has been 2 years. But that time in the
Congratulations.
hospital, 60 days, will tank
Yeah,
somebody's savings. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Unless you the part of the 1% rich or wealthy,
yeah.
the average Joe is
Mm,
not going to have that type of money. And if
mm-mm,
you do,
mm.
and you had it for something for the future, it's going to be used for the present because you got to do that back and forth.
Yeah,
Whether it's the traveling, the food, or
yeah.
just the medical expenses in general, which would that's a
Medication.
whole different topic in itself with this
Mm,
Medicare, Medicaid stuff now. Oh my
yep,
gosh.
yep.
Switching over to that's an adjustment in itself.
It
So,
is. It is. It is.
so
Now I'm here on Social Security, which I didn't expect to be on for another 40 years.
that
Maybe
part,
another 30 years, but it's scary. It's really scary.
it
It's
is.
amazing that we are really living off of that income. And it's sad how we're done. It's sad as far as the percentages that are given to individuals that were once on life support and at in life stage, But this is where we have to put on our thinking caps and come up with other plans to make sure that we are still not just living, but thriving and financially. And
Hmm.
this is where we have to be creative and put on those hats. Put on those
Yeah.
hats. Like they're creating those books.
Yeah.
I'm making shirts now. Prayerfully one day I'll be able to be a paid speaker. I've spoke a few times, had a few interviews, and that's something I would just love to do.
Same here. I would
I
love
want
to
to
do
create
that.
an app. So there's so many different things that we can do, and it's all about balance. I felt myself a week ago going back to where I used to be as far as the frustration and giving
Hmm.
myself these deadlines. I have to have this done by then. I have to do that by then. This has to be completed. And I'm like, Keisha, what are you doing? You don't have to rush. You're on your time frame. It's going to get done when it is supposed to be done. You can take a break, you can rest, but just never give up. But it's essential
Exactly.
to rest now. Whereas before, that was not my priority. It
No,
wasn't my
we're
priority.
connected to societal structures. That's why.
Yeah.
This has
Yeah.
to be done at this time. I only have this amount of
Uh-huh.
time and I got to get it done here. And then you're stressed out. That's the thing I don't agree with when it comes to this country, this economy, and its ways for finance and medical.
Yeah.
Everything is tick tock and you're not on your own
You're right.
time. So, you
Yeah.
know, when I look at these other countries with the free or cheaper healthcare and the
Yeah.
quality at that too,
Yeah.
I envy it. I wish it was part of this system. I
Yeah.
feel sorry for the elders. Like I always felt sorry for them. I always had empathy, but now being part of this system of healthcare, being on Medicare, I empathize even more. I was always on Medicaid because of my condition, because it was congenital. But when you have a transplant and you go on the Social Security disability, and at the 24-month period, they automatically enroll you to that Medicare,
Yeah.
and then you realize the difference of what you were paying or wasn't paying, and now that you're paying more, you don't get as many months of prescriptions. I used to get 90 days, now they cut to 30. All these things and these
Hate that.
copays, and
Oh, I
and
hate
then
that.
you gotta contact your providers of different things that you had and update them, or else you're going to get billed. It
Yeah.
doesn't just roll over automatically and the system just pushes through everything that you're a part of. It's,
Get
it's
that.
literally a hassle. And I'm learning this every day
Yeah.
by either a phone call, a letter, or email or something, just
Yeah.
stating like, oh, you got Medicare, this, you got to do this now. Where in Medicaid, it was just done.
Yeah.
And, but the fact that we have to go through this is, one is embarrassing. Two, it's annoying. Three, is just downright wrong.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the way it is. But there's people like you and I. We have to be agents of change
We do.
against the agents of chaos, because we got
Yes.
a lot of that.
Yes, absolutely. And we have to stay strong, not just for ourselves, but for others also, those that are going to walk the same path that we're walking. And then for our family members, we have to stay strong for them. And it's not
Exactly.
false type strength, it's a manifestation type strength. I know that I'm going to be okay. I know I'm going to make it. That's why I told you, yeah,
Exactly.
I have my documents right here from today, from the hospital. And I think the last time I had to cancel with you is because I was ill. I was in the bed. I just really couldn't do anything. But I
You
just
was
came
ill, and
home.
also your battery.
Oh,
That
yeah.
happened too.
It was a lot going on.
It
A lot.
was.
But thank God that turned out right. But I said I'm home now, able to shower and take all this pretty jewelry off and have this interview, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm not feeling my best, but I remember being told I'd rather be seen than viewed. And I appreciate being seen at this precise moment because I was
Yeah.
so close to being viewed.
I I I hear you
Yeah.
100%. And I am also grateful for you to be a guest as well. Like
Thank,
you're my first guest, so that
thank
a
you.
special moment as well. I mean, I
Yeah.
this is a process. I'm still
Yeah.
learning everything about the podcast world, but I'm enjoying it every day. Like I said, it's a learning experience, and I hope to create something more out of it, not just a podcast. Just
Yeah.
making that an avenue and branch off into other ventures that's going to bring people together. Like you said, become a speaker, maybe
Yes.
bring in the money where I can have a comfortable life, but
Yeah.
have enough where I can help others as well.
Absolutely.
I don't need all the money in the world. I want to
No.
be able to help people, but
Yeah.
I
What
want to
is
be
living
able to
on that
wake
helping?
up and yeah, I want to do my own time while helping others. I don't want to punch nobody's clock anymore.
Yeah.
When you experience things like we have, you don't want to see punching the clock. Even though some people have gone back to work and do it, some people it's the thing they love. We're not knocking it.
Yeah.
Then there's
Yeah.
people like us who's just built different. It's like I can't waste
Yeah.
this second chance. There's
Mm-mm.
more to this. This is
Mm.
purpose now. I gotta walk this path. This is
Yeah.
going to be my life's work. This is
Absolutely.
where it is. Some people can't figure out their purpose for a long time. Some people get it right away. If you're like me, I didn't figure it out until here in the last couple of years when I feel like the transplant was the missing piece of the puzzle. And I think that's what we needed. Uh oh. Did we lose Markeisha? All right, everyone. I think we had a technical issue. I'm going to give it just a minute, see if she comes back on. I apologize. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right. You
Can you hear
good?
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. So I still have the iPhone 13. So if anybody out there would like to sponsor a current phone, I think we're like on 20 now or something like that.
Yeah, I got the latest one. It's 17, but there's an 18
17.
coming out. And
Mm,
look, I wouldn't have had that if my other phone didn't go out. So that's the only reason. I try to keep a phone for years before I upgrade. But
yeah.
you know how they get you down. It's like you got to upgrade every 2 years. The design the phone to go out. It's
This
cool.
13 is terrible. I have every issue you can think of, from it getting hot to where it says it's a certain percentage and it isn't. It dies on you. It lasts for
Oh,
less than half of a day. It's just so many issues. It'll say it's FaceTiming someone, but then it's not really FaceTime. It's like a
oh
video.
my goodness. Who's your service provider?
Verizon.
But
But
right,
it's the phone itself, I'm certain.
yeah, it's the phone. It's the
Yeah.
phone. You gotta
I'm a phone
upgrade. I know it's
user.
hard to upgrade with your position down. You know
I
these
just
phones are
upgrade.
not cheap. Right. You just spent that. We had to do the GoFundMe for the car to get the hybrid battery in. Oh man. So up, I think her phone went out again. That she was trying to get connected to her computer, but for some odd reason her computer is not allowing it. But yeah, that's her phone. She got 13. Anybody knows these phones, they don't last long. If you got real old versions, they really don't last long. So, but that's not her fault. Again, part of my silence, and I'm looking down because I am texting Markeisha to let her know if she can't come back. It's cool. We can still rap. We got everything. We got the important stuff out the way, and we're gonna have these issues. I'm sure everybody's gone through it. This is just the, the raw version of it, so you can see things happen even in podcast. And let's hope she can get the text as well. It's cool, people. Again, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We did have a little bit of a technical issue. Marquisha's phone is not doing the best, but again, I'm happy to have her on the podcast. I'm happy that I was able to interview her. And everybody, go to her Facebook page. Markeisha Hayward. So look at her content, her post, and look at her journey. It tells a lot. Everything that we've gone through. I'm telling you. She has her Instagram links connected as well. So just go and follow her throughout her transplant journey. But I'm gonna leave you here with that for our listeners. thank you for listening. To our viewers, thank you for viewing this on the YouTube channel. You can listen to this on your podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and we're gonna see. Hold up, she's trying to get in again. This is our last. This is our last hurrah. Look, I was telling them, I was like, if you can't get on, it's okay. We're gonna wrap it up. I was let them know, they can view this whole clip, this whole video,
Yeah.
YouTube, and they can listen to it on Spotify and Apple platforms. Everything that we need. I
Got it.
told them where to follow you at.
Good. And I
So get the
sincerely
information.
apologize.
That is
Thank you,
not your fault.
iPhone
This is
13.
technology. It's okay. I've been through it. Look,
Goodness.
we're gonna look. Maybe get you start a fundraiser. We get an iPhone, people, to get her an update. Let's get her upgrade.
Right.
Anybody listen to this? Let's go ahead and get her upgrade so she won't have
Yes.
these issues. Because we
My
know
heart
that
attack
once
anniversary is
the
coming up
heart attack
December 30th.
anniversary gift, let's transplant anniversary gift. You got your transplant 10 days before I did. Hold up, you got yours.
Oh,
Hold up, you
amazing.
got yours in June or May?
June 2nd.
June 2nd. Yeah, so you got it 10 days before I did. I got mine on June 12th.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
so
my brother's birthday. I remember that.
yeah, but yeah, everybody listening, let's get Markeisha an upgraded iPhone or something so she won't have
Right.
that bad battery life. We know how the iPhones work. They're good for 2
Man.
years. You got to throw them in the garbage or you got to upgrade.
Man, thank you
These
in
phones,
advance.
these phones ain't cheap. These phones are
They
not cheap.
aren't. They
They
aren't.
get worse every year. They get more and more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What happened to those good old flip phones?
I miss a flip phone, a Motorola, like a Razor or
Yes.
anything like that. Look, me and my
Mm-hmm.
wife talk about that too. They drop a flip phone that we like, we'll take it. Because
Yeah.
it's telling you, technology is a gift and a curse, and these phones are definitely that.
I agree.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But again, I do thank you for being part of the podcast. I really appreciate you showing up. I know you've been
Thank
going
you.
through a lot. We had to reschedule a couple of times, but you're here and that's what matters the most. And, I'm definitely going to continue to follow you and contact you besides, just doing an interview.
Awesome.
And maybe I could make a trip down there to Tennessee, see what it's like for one of your events as well.
That will be wonderful.
But these flight
Matter of
prices
fact,
is hurting.
I have something big coming up in November. I'm not going to say what it is yet.
I
I'll
get it.
actually talk to you on the phone about it.
Okay.
But there is something pretty big, so maybe that'll give you and your wife time to prepare to come out here for it. Yeah.
We'll see. We know November's the holidays. I know we got some stuff going on, but depending on, we'll see. Plus, going down there be a little warmer than compared to West Virginia. I mean,
What's
we
the
both in
weather
the
out
mountains. Right now, I mean, we're in the low 80s because it's been raining for the last few days. We've actually been under floods and everything, but it's not that bad. It's still warm, but I know when November hits, it gets colder and people looking to go a little south for a little bit of mild weather. But,
Yeah. When I was at the doctor, I left. I think we left here about 4:15 a.m. this morning, and I think it was 83 degrees already or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been having our hot days. We didn't have heat advisories. We've been in triple digits. I was just here this last couple of days. It's been in rain, but other than that, it's been high 90s, low hundreds at times. Yeah. This heat is something serious, but I'm actually happy about the rain. It's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. And we need
much
it.
needed.
We need it. And there's nothing
much
we can
needed.
do about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do except accept it. Yeah.
Yep.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate you being consistent. I appreciate you contacting me again, giving me this opportunity to put my word out there and to share information. And I am working on my web page right now. Or I'm thinking I'll start out with a web page instead of a website. That's my thoughts. But a brand new 501(c), trying to get that bank account filled up. We got our bank account established now, and I'm working on sponsorship letters and, got my book together and I have some merch and just trying to do what I can do so that I can actually assist other people. So
Yeah.
instead of when we go out to have a full body massage, instead of them paying $110, they can pay $15. That's
Right.
how I want to bless people, or maybe even on the house. And I did speak with a few people, and they are requesting that I create a support group outside of transplant support group, because there's so many people that need support. So that's something else that I'm praying on also, that most likely I may be starting something like that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Look, this is what I'm working on too, working on getting this foundation together. I didn't put it off to the side, but you have life events that kind of push it back a little bit, but that's
Yeah.
my next thing I'm working on too, is getting my nonprofit off the ground and seeing what I can do to support others as well, especially in this
And
area.
on GP, if you need assistance, I'm the woman to assist you with that 501(c). It was just me and chat. I had no human beings to assist me. And that's how I know that God is totally, totally directing and guiding and ordering my footsteps, because I could not fathom creating a 501(c) a year ago, 2 years ago. I just couldn't. The
I get
memory
it.
wasn't there.
I
So it
get it.
went back down to 1% again.
Uh, don't worry about it. But
But yeah,
but
I'll definitely assist you however you need. There's so many people that go through the process and they just miss, real tiny things that can make a difference with you getting approved or you're not getting approved. So
right.
yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm
I
here for
appreciate
you
it.
if you can use me.
So I got you and I got my aunt who said she's going to help and everything. So it's nice to have a
Yes.
team.
I promise you. I promise. And that's what we need. That's why we need these support groups. That's why we need what you're doing with these podcasts, because we need each other. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to share our stories. There's too many of us that are passing away, and we take our stories with us. We take our knowledge with us when it's supposed to be expelled from our bodies and shared with the world. So you're allowing that to happen, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it as well.
Absolutely.
Uh, But everybody, you heard it. We have Markeisha on here for our first guest. She has blessed me tremendously, and I'm grateful to have this conversation with you as well. But
Okay.
everybody, tune in. Again, I repeat, you can find us on the Apple platforms, Spotify, YouTube, and look forward to more episodes from the podcast, Scars and Stories, where we give voices to our scars. Thank you,
I
Markeisha,
love
once
it.
again.
Thank you, Stephen.
All right. And you take care.
You do too. And I love you and I need you to survive. Keep your
Thank
head up.
you. Love you too.
Bye bye.